Yeah, stop.
Oh, we're good. Okay, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you're still recording. Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Get With The Programming. We are into our third episode of Mount Rush Moments, our own little fun stories, moments, events, little bias behind the scenes stories of the 2009 CrossFit Games. We did 2007, 2008. But before we get into that, I am Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
Along with Bill Grunler.
Wolverine.
And I'm having so much fun with these. Short, packed full of just rambling, all the other things we try to cut out on our other episodes.
No, but what are you talking about? Do we ramble on these too, man? That's what we do. But that's what's so great about this. It's a platform for us to ramble on. I like that.
It's like, hey, let's make it short, and then 45 minutes later, oops.
They should be quick ones. Totally. No.
So 2007, 2008, we've already done. If you guys haven't heard those, go back and listen to them. And the idea for this segment is taking our favorite moments, and we said just make it top 4 of certain events. Right now we're going through the CrossFit Games. We've been doing our Analyzing the Programming series, where we look at the programming for every CrossFit Game since 2007. And me and Bill go event by event, and we interject some of our own personal stories as we go along. But our focus is looking at the programming and deciding whether it was an appropriate test to declare that these are the fittest men, women, and teams on earth. And what we want to do here is pick our favorite 4 moments of these years. So we are now into the 2009 CrossFit Games, and this one was a little bit more fun than the last 2, because now I'm starting to get into more of what I saw, and
right.
This is about right when I started getting into CrossFit full time. So this one is a bit more fun to kind of dig into.
Well, I mean, and it's not the classic, backyard barbecue. I mean, you watch the videos of this one. This is the last one at Aromas, and it's packed. Like, where the hell did you get all these people and you shove them on a ranch like this? Especially when you look at the early footage, like the 2007, even 2008. 2008, there were still a lot of people, but 2009, like they brought in bleachers to house people to right. Showcase what was going on here, and they had lights that were set up. They had all in fact, I think they actually had a monitor, like a telescreen monitor. Yes. That was there, and that's a lot of production to put in this. This is the 3rd year of the CrossFit Games. Right. You could probably say like 2.25 years of CrossFit Games. I mean, this is a big one. This is a big one. This was like the first. Now we're going. Now we're the CrossFit Games. Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of good stuff to pick out of this.
I like it a lot. So I have my 4 moments. Bill has his. We haven't shared them with each other. I think the fun part about this is shooting from the hip, kind of getting our own reactions of our own personal choices on what our top 4 moments are. And I believe you are going first this time.
I got the first one.
All right, you got the first one. All right, let's get into our Mount Rush moments.
God, that is so funny, dude. That is so good. So good.
The quality of that flute will match the quality of our choices here. Bill, kick it off.
All right. My first one, I'll say I tried to pick a part of it, but I'm just going to have to go with the one event. The sledge event is the one I'm going to be picking. And the reason I'm picking that is because that was, I think, one of the first events that they started teasing on social media to athletes that were trying to make it there and what it was going to be and everything. And one of the things that was said was this was going to be an event that you guaranteed have never done in training, and it's going to showcase your fitness outside of the normal stuff.
Okay.
And I remember racking my brain trying to figure out what that would be, like moving pieces from one hill to another hill of just whether it's sandbags or moving a tractor or pushing like something. I'm like, okay, it's going to be at the ranch. What are you going to do? Like what kind of weird work is it going to be? And they come out with 500-meter row, take this stake and put it in the ground in 500-meter row. And like that in itself was like, okay. And if you go back and watch the videos and you watch how everyone is hitting the sledge on the spike, you kind of stand back and you go, they don't know what the hell they're doing right now.
Not a lot has changed since 2009 when I see people swing sledgehammers.
Oh my God. Well, there's a lot of like tink, 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 tink. But the sledgehammers were still breaking. A buddy of mine, JC Nessa, was in there. He was right next.
Did you say the sledgehammer broke?
Yeah. Snap. What? Yeah, snap the if you miss and you hit the handle, it snapped the head off. So Miko Salo's in first place. My buddy JC Nessa was in second place, right next to him. They're pulling on the rower. They get to put their stake in at about the same time. And if you watch the video of what's cool about this one is they have all the heats. You can watch back. You can watch every single heat of the event. So if you have a weekend, you want to watch some CrossFit Games, go check out 2009. They put the stake in there, and he's hitting it, and they're tink, 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 and he starts kind of smacking it, and all of a sudden, the head of his sledgehammer comes flying off, and he has to sprint back to go get another sledgehammer and come back again and try and finish it up. Oh, my gosh. Awesome. I think that event was cool.
That was a cool event. I think that was the start of the odd object.
Yeah. First time.
But you've never done it like this.
Yep.
On an event. That's cool. That's a good one. All right. Well, my first one will also be an event. I don't think this will be much of a shocker for those that know the 2009 games, especially those that competed in the 2009 games, but it is the sandbag sprint.
Yeah.
It seems so simple on paper when you look at it. Go back and watch the video, and I hope they have aftermath footage.
Oh, dude, they do.
Every heat.
Every heat goes.
And it was just how far was it again? I forgot.
I think they said it was, I don't know, like 150 meters.
That's what I want to say. I felt like that's too short, but you might be right. I think it's less than a 200-meter sprint.
Straight up
the hill with 70-pound, 235-pound sandbags for the men, 135-pound sandbag for the women. And it ended up being one of the most, and still talked about as one of the most painful events ever programmed.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah.
Which I really hope they bring back in 2020.
I don't see how you couldn't. I think the weights would be different, but I think like how could you not? How could you not?
I think you don't need to. Just.
Well, I mean that's true. You know what?
All they're going to do is go faster, and that sucks even more. You don't got to make it heavier. You don't need to make it longer. I think the conditioning of the athletes' legs now just can handle like this shocked the shit out of people. Like it wasn't just like, ooh, that's hard. It was like it blew people's brains. I mean, it crushed them physically. That's a good one though. 400.
Okay, yeah, totally.
Then I do want to see again, and probably the most iconic event at Aromas. There's more iconic moments. I think, you see like, well, I don't want to take away some of we might have later.
Yeah. Well, even the way it was set up, everyone lined the trail all the way up to the top.
It's like a PGA Tour event where you just had everyone standing around the green.
Yeah.
As the Tiger Woods walked up to hit his putt, but seeing and that's what it was. It's like just that raw spectator seating.
Only 5 people at a time. Everyone's watching you. And everyone, like, it's cool. Like, in everyone's head, they're thinking, okay, it's the race. All right, here we go. Got to go fast. You turn around, you got to grab your sandbag, you start heading up the hill, and then you realize, oh shit, what are they going to think if I start walking? Wait, they're walking. Oh, thank God they're walking too. Okay, so I can walk out quick. They have a lot of that kind of stuff, I mean, like you're literally, I that's what I like about sport is you're tossing your hat into the ring and going for it. I mean, there's only 5 people that are running up this hill at a time, so everyone sees you. They'll watch what happens. They'll see it. It's crazy.
All right, that was
Good,
my
good
one.
call.
Thank you.
I
Number
will
2.
I will tail off of that one.
Ooh.
It was interesting watching everyone go up the hill, just like what you're talking about, how they would stop or what they would do. But the person that had the most unique way, I think, of getting up the hill was Annie Thorstadter. And if you watch the video how she does it, everyone else is running. So you see like the sprinters are sprinting and they look like they're sprinting and the runners are doing their thing. But she looks like she's cross-country skiing. Her arms are like long and extended.
Yes.
Her legs are shuffling. And
Never
she
crossed my mind about that.
Dude, I was watching, I'm like, what is that silly? Oh, she's still going. Oh, she just beat everybody. Like she cruised up the hill. It was insane. I think that was the most impressive thing. You just do what you do. And I mean, I don't know if she does a lot of cross country skiing or not, but that's exactly what it looked like. That was crazy.
Huh. Although I feel like she used to still run like that later down the road, so maybe
maybe a little bit.
That's good. So that was actually, we talked about this on our Get With the Programming episode for 2009. That was her very first win at the CrossFit Games and her very first CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
So as we weave back and forth, people are not going to believe that we don't share this with each other. I'm going to tail off yours, Bill, into my second rush moment, and that is a new international field of athletes at the CrossFit Games.
All right.
Traditionally, well, it started in California. CrossFit, started in Santa Cruz. Mm-hmm. And so it was a predominantly American fitness program and sport. And so 07, 08, there was almost barely any, if zero, international athletes coming over to compete at the CrossFit Games.
I think there's only Canada.
Yeah, that doesn't really count as international. Intercontinental.
Okay.
I don't count Canadians. No.
Canada.
Canada. Well, I mean, James Fitzgerald, right? So
he was the champ. I mean, what he won.
But I'm talking like, crossing the pond to get over here.
Well, and there was a handful that did that year too.
Yes. So Annie Thorstadter being one of those, she makes a name for herself. But Miko Salo coming down and winning the whole thing in 2009. So to me, it was really cool to see the growth of the sport in just a couple of years.
Yeah.
And bringing in what most athletes now dominating the sport are our international athletes.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see the growth so quickly and have them come in and be so good.
Oh man, totally.
At what they were doing.
Well, and like this event wasn't, in all aspects of sport, like this wasn't really that big of an event yet. And you have people coming from the other side of the world just to come and play. I mean, you had to qualify for it. And I get all that, but I mean, still, like it was really new still, Mm-hmm. So the fact that we had that many coming over being that good was just insane. And this isn't going to be one of my moments, but we've talked about Annie quite a bit, but as Dave is calling her out to I think for the finals, calls around and goes, and in second place, Annie, and puts the mic over to Annie because he didn't want to say her name. And then you hear Annie, Torosara. Oh man. So that's the whole international thing. And Dave couldn't get regular names right anyway. Oh man.
What was that, number 2?
Are we on 3?
International field.
Okay.
So you're moving to your third.
Mine is going to be the description at the athlete briefing for the couplet event, the wall ball hang squat snat event. Okay. So they have all the athletes are circled up. They're getting ready to do their event. Dave is announcing what it's going to be. And this is all on video too. So you can go back and check out all this stuff. And this one, it made me laugh. This is very indicative. This has happened more than I think people should know. I mean, they don't really need to know that there's like a lot of adjusting when things are happening. But I just think that the way it went down was so great. Dave gets up and he goes, okay, for the couple, it's going to be 5 rounds. Wall ball, and it's wall balls and hang squat snatch. It's going to be 30 or maybe 25. And then Tony comes in and says, hey, we have a scheduling issue. We may need to adjust those numbers a little bit. And he goes, and Dave goes, okay, but it's going to be high volume. So it's not going to be like 10 and 10 or 15 and 15 or 20 and 20. And it's like, well, dude, what's left? 25 and 30. What you just said is not here. It's going to be somewhere around there. So all these athletes, all they know is the movement, basically. They have no idea what the numbers are going to be or how many rounds or whatever. And then that was how it got thrown to them to be the 3 rounds of 30 and 30, which was just a straight annihilation of people's legs. And I think you said this was the first one you did. I remember doing this one at the station during the CrossFit Games. I saw that it was announced, and I was at the station. I remember going out in the morning. We were doing our morning workout. I'm like, okay, here, I'm going to do this one. It sucked.
First Games event I ever did.
Oh, sucked.
It was so bad.
So bad.
So bad. I couldn't believe how hard that was.
Yeah.
My back, because the hang had to go below the knee.
Yep.
So that puts you in a really weird position. You don't really go to.
Yeah.
Just don't. And then the med ball, having in the front rack position, squatting does tug on the low back a little bit, but man.
Yeah. But the way that was presented, that's mine. That's mine. I just think it's awesome. And everyone's like, okay, so what are we doing? Yeah, well, you'll find out. Just show up here. You'll find out.
You'd be surprised how often they did that deep into the games.
Oh man, totally. To
this day, like, hey, listen, we said this, but.
Well, and so the demo team. So you guys know the demo team. The reason the demo team is out is because things will look good on paper, but they need to see, okay, how fast are people going to go? What do we need to adjust these distances a little bit? And that's what those teams do. It isn't just to show, hey, and here's a squat clean, and here's a this. It's like they're testing the events up until the event happens.
The whole weekend.
A lot
of people. So if those who don't know, the demo team is on site during the CrossFit Games, but it's usually a collection of, 4 men, 4 women. Now it's gotten a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
They're testing individual events, team events.
Yeah.
But they do it all weekend. And you'll see some athletes, usually it's like the athletes that barely miss the CrossFit Games coming out.
Totally.
And you'll see, I would see a lot of these athletes like ask Dave, publicly on Instagram or something. It's like, I want to be on the demo team. Let me tell you right now. No, you don't.
Dude.
Because those guys and girls go through the ringer.
Yeah.
They'll test the same event like 4 or 5 times in a row before Dave figures it out.
Yeah. And most of the athletes have their warm-up routine so that they can perform and not get hurt and all that. Like I remember my buddy Wes Pyatt was on the team. He went to the games 2013. He was on the regional team 2014, or the demo team 2014. And he's like, never again, man. Never again. He's like, you're woken up at the ass crack of dawn, and it's like, lift this heavy weight 45 times, and you got to run over here and do this. He's like, dude, it sucked. But the one, but if you look at someone like Paul Tremblay, he's like, man, I love it. It's cool.
Oh, yeah. So funny. And he's so good.
Oh, man, he's awesome.
Yours was the
presentation of the couplet event. Yeah.
You had just mentioned about qualifying.
Yep.
So my third rush moment is actually having some small qualification process. It wasn't necessarily regionals yet. What is it called? The last chance qualifier?
Oh, yeah.
But this was the first games where you had to actually qualify for, not just, well, whoever wants to register can register and compete at the CrossFit Games and then you're in. Because that's what it was in 07 and 08. signed up like you're doing the Open, and you went to the CrossFit Games.
I'm in.
First time they had qualifiers to kind of sift through and get people to the CrossFit Games prior to things becoming, well, I won't say legitimized in 2010 because there were regionals, but they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And then 2011, when things really started to get standardized across the world in that. So having a qualifier to the CrossFit Games for the first time ever is my third rush moment.
Yeah, I missed it by 3 spots that year too.
So sorry.
Dude, like 3 is my unlucky number, man. Every MFN time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have done one beforehand before opening up that wound.
Well, I mean, it's fine. You know, I mean, this is, you know, it's funny. It's totally fine. I'll save it for later. It's fine. Anyways, all right. So my last one. I'm on my last one.
Okay, we're on our last one.
Okay. My rush moment for the last one is Tanya Wagner on the Chipper event doing the muscle ups. I think everyone would normally say, "Oh, Annie got her first muscle up, and it's amazing, and that's awesome, and it's totally cool." What I liked about what Tanya did is they had to do 10 muscle ups, ring muscle ups, on that Chipper. First time ever. Her and Annie are basically facing each other because they're basically tied for first and second. Annie was second, Tanya was first, but it was kind of whoever wins out of those two wins. Tanya had to do 10. She probably did 6 attempts before she got her first one. I would say out of the 10 that she did, she probably had 45 attempts. Like, she did so many and had so many misses. And, you know, the fact that it was at the end of the weekend, the volume that people were doing at this point was not, people weren't used to that kind of a volume. And that amount of reps and all the stuff they had to do, you know, that compound effect. But she just hung in there, man, and didn't give up, and, you know, ended up winning. And that was just watching that tenacity was insane. It's awesome. Love that girl.
Those that don't know Tanya, other than like the broadcast side, Tanya is
badass.
So badass.
Badass.
Like, sweetest, like, mom of the broadcast team. Until
oh my word.
Oh yeah. I've never heard her swear. I think I saw her swear a couple times. Like, oh.
Yeah, that's when you know she's fired up.
But she is one tenacious competitor. Like, she is a total badass, which is, I think, even more terrifying because you see this, like, sweet, you know, outgoing and motherly exterior, and then underneath is like this rabid dog. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's mine.
That's good. I like it. Okay, my fourth one is, this is, to me, the first time Dave took the turn to testing the athletes as opposed to showcasing the athletes. So programming things out of the reach of the majority of the athletes to set or start to raise the bar going forward. So you look at even the stake drive thing, something unique that no one's ever done before. And it looked terrible because no one was good at it. Well, it doesn't mean it was a bad test.
Right.
The parallel handstand push-ups that I think only 3 women in the entire field got one.
Yeah.
And then the ring muscle ups at the same time. You know, it's like Annie got her first one and she struggled. There's that. I mean, when you think of Annie Thorsdottir in old school CrossFit, that video always comes up of her getting her first ring muscle ups and her judge celebrating more than she was celebrating.
Yeah, totally.
But this was, I feel, the start of Dave really starting to test these athletes in ways that they're probably unprepared for. And then it doesn't look good when they're on stage, you know, and we see that as kind of a theme, not maybe so much the next couple of years. It raises up again, and I would say 13, 14, 15 especially.
Yeah.
Well, 13 with legless, but there was a few events in there that people just couldn't do.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool turn, and he's right by his desire is like, we're not here. This isn't a dog and pony show. We are testing for the fittest on athletes, and they should be able to do these things. And if they're not, well, then they probably shouldn't be here. And I like that. I felt like that was the start of seeing that from Dave, just a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's true. There was definitely a shift, well, a massive shift from this year to the year before. And in our discussion about those years when we were looking at the programming, I think that's one of the things that there's a lot of experimentation that was happening. And you're right. I think this was the first time where they got a real foothold in for a true competitive state of the test. The first year was the test. The second year was, okay, let's have the race. Well, maybe that wasn't really the test. And then this year was like okay, now we're testing, but we're competing at the same time in a variety of things. Like that blueprint is really starting to come to fruition. And that you're right. This was a great year. Great year. It really was.
This is when the games started to take shape more of what we're used to seeing in the modern day era of the CrossFit Games. And not just because of the number of events, but like we said, the quality of the competition, international athletes coming in, the challenge that was the programming that did, like they took a leap year.
Oh yeah.
On the programming side. So yeah,
good.
2009.
Good. Oh, good. Warm feelings. Warm feelings.
More fun. What is it? 2009. So 2010. 2010 is next.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is when things are really going to start to get interesting, because now we are present.
Oh yeah, we're in
CrossFit Games.
We're at a location for that one.
Yeah. We are on site. We are in the mix. So I'm excited to see what we come up with for our next few series of Mount Rush moments. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to hear our analyzing of our analysis of the 2009 CrossFit Games programming, you guys can go back and listen to that. That was our third episode of our first series. And, take a look at the events and try to figure out exactly what we were talking about. So that was 2009. 2010 is next. Bill,
thank
you very much. See you next time.